Hello, and welcome to the Frivolous and Frugal Knitting Podcast. We are two sisters who share a fondness for knitting, the things that we create, and the love we have for the knitting community. And we do it with a twist of both the frivolous and the frugal. I am Frivolous Dawn, and in our family's birth order, I am the fourth of 8 children.
Hello, and I am Frugal Miss Penny. I am the eldest of the 8, and we are so excited that you're with us. We also have 2 team members who aren't with us today, but you have heard us talk about them. Our dear sister, number 3, Faithful Nikki, statistician, cheerleader, probably CFO, CEO, COO, what all that ever stuff means, we don't know, but she is that. And our dear sweet niece, Fearless Miss Brianna. She is the daughter of number 7. So welcome once again. This is episode 86 of the Frivolous and Frugal podcast. And we are so excited and want to say hello to our returning viewers. Thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate your faithful viewing. And for those of you who have stumbled upon us or referred to us, and this is your first time, we're so glad you joined us. Dawn and I, actually everyone at Frivolous and Frugal, has such a heart for just building and encouraging the knitting community. So thank you for making time to be with us. Now it's time to grab your knitting, your favorite note-taking device, and a sense of humor, and join us for episode 86 of the Frivolous and Frugal podcast. Take it away, Dawn.
You know, every once in a while, we should probably do a little longer intro, but I say this probably every other time. So just because we've had a bump in viewers.
Yeah.
I currently, Penny and I live in 2 different states, which is why we do this on Zoom. I'm currently living in Green Bay, Wisconsin, where I live with my husband, son, and a cat named Weasel.
I can't top that. I currently live in Ohio, near Toledo, Ohio. My husband and I have 5 grown sons, just had our 6th grandbaby, and I have no cat named Weasel, nor do I want one.
Bummer. I was going to say, I could take care of that.
Oh, no, that gift would be a return to sender, just for the record. Okay. So don't even think about it. Speaking of taking it away, do you mind if I take it off?
Sure.
I am wearing today Pebble Beach by Helen Stewart. It is one of the first shawls I ever knit. It is knit in Malabrigo sock in the stars colorway. Just gorgeous. I don't even need to describe how pretty it is to you. It was knit on a size 6, as most Helen's patterns are, and on the frugalometer on my end, a $4 sign for the fiber and a $2 sign for the pattern. Thank you.
You know, it's been so many years now since we did that stars, isn't it?
We did the very first stars. So that had to have been maybe back in 2016, 2017, something like that.
We bought some nice yarn, didn't we?
We did. It was exclusively dyed for that event, which put it up there on the frugalometer. Okay, thank you. Take as long as you would like now.
I am wearing Cowlmazoo. It's a paid for pattern on Ravelry. And the designer is Laura Dobratz. You may know that name. Laura is the owner of the 4 Pearls yarn store in Winter Haven, Florida, and it is her daughter who is Emma from Emma's Yarn. So how's that for a little roundabout story? I say that because that's where I bought this. We were vacationing in Florida. So the guys went to Legoland and I went to 4 Pearls. So this was a kit for the Cowlmazoo, and it is using Emma's Splendid singles. And it is in mom's jeans and denim are the 2 colors. And if I remember right, these are like 50-gram skeins. And so it was just fun there. They had several of them that were show models. You'll notice today there'll be a recurring theme of cowls. I told Penny last night, I'm declaring 2023 the year of the cowl in my world. I just need, I don't know, 10 or 20 more.
So, and unofficially, you have declared 2022 the year of the cowl also.
Oh, I did.
Well, think about what you finished.
Yeah, so I guess we're extending it, maybe the decade of the
There you go.
I'm becoming interested in all the different cowl designs and how they sit and do they stay. So I'm just going to segue into what Dear Ruby is wearing. This was a cowl I did earlier this year. That is a cowl called the Mallow cowl, and the designer is Life is Cozy. That is knit in a DK weight. It was Sublime, if I remember right. And it DK weight cashmere silk. It was just glorious to work with. And the color's called Aqua. And that actually right now what you're seeing is a fair representation of that color. Now, out of my color wheel, I can't remember why I had it, the yarn. I think I bought it at Silver Thimble, but boy, was this a focus design for me where I really had to pay attention. Now, what you're seeing with all of these are these really long necks, and I like it because then they puddle here, but when they puddle, what does that sound like? Did she say
I don't know, but I like it.
piddle or puddle? Okay. You know, when it falls open, you can see the inside of your knitting sometimes, which isn't always the prettiest side. So should I flip it a little bit so that when it is open, you just still see knitting?
I think I would tend to flip it in.
Yeah.
If my backside was kind of wonky, but if it wasn't, I'd show everybody.
And if I bend over far enough, I show everybody other things too.
Stop.
So, yeah, and then this is obviously a lot longer. I do like this. I don't know. There's just something about this length right here that I'm kind of liking today. As far as some details, because I should probably give those. The Cowlmazoo, I used a US 5 on it. I followed the pattern as written, which means I didn't add or subtract any rows. I gave $2 on the frugalometer for the pattern, and I also gave $2 on the yarn. And if I remember right, it might have been one of those when you bought the kit, you got the Ravelry code. I can't remember. It may have been
okay.
one of those kind of shop deals, which I appreciate. The Mallow cowl, again, I did in Sublime yarn, baby cashmere, merino silk DK. On the frugalometer, I gave that a $2 sign for the pattern, and I gave the yarn a $3 sign. You know, I know I'm a little frivolous, but what is it about that combination of cashmere silk for me is so tactily, I just love the feel of that yarn as it goes through. And so
whatever it takes to justify.
You know what? I am busted. Oh, yeah, okay. I won't go there where I was gonna go. All right, and what I want to know what your mannequin is wearing.
Oh, well, we're going to talk about Opal's adornment or accessory, should I say, during What's Off My Needles. So
that's right.
Does that work for you?
That works for me. Right.
So yeah, what are you knitting?
I am knitting another cowl. Wow. And you talk about a color out of my wheelhouse. Here you go. So who says I only knit in black, white, and red with a splash of pink? Let the record so reflect. I don't know what color this is. Color 237. I'm sure you were all guessing that at home. You were screaming it at the computer. It is brownish burgundy, if that is such a color. This is a pattern by Churchmouse, Yarns and Tees, and it's a paid-for pattern on Ravelry. And the yarn I'm using is from Rowan. It's called Brushed Fleece. It is, it's not even in need to show that. It is bigger than worsted, but I don't know if it's quite chunky. So I'm not sure where Ravelry calls it. Maybe they even call it an Aran. But this was one of the yarns that was left when Silver Thimble was going out of business. And there were like 4 of us knitters there, and we're like, we have to find something for that yarn. So a nice trick in Ravelry is you can go in on the upper toolbar on Ravelry, there's a icon called yarns. So we clicked on that and we typed in Rowan Brushed Fleece. And these were one of the project ideas that came up for that yarn. And so they had it in several colors. And so a bunch of us bought it. We casted it on all together at an open knitting session last Thursday or last Wednesday. Some of the ladies are done already, but you'll see kind of the construction. I do have my one edge still on the needles, because if I have extra yarn, I would like to make it a tad longer, but this will go over the head, and then the 2 points is it comes to a point like this in the front, and it comes to a point in the back. So big, oversized, would work great maybe, and as we enter into fall here, throw it over your whatever you're wearing, or maybe in a really cold winter day, you could put that on and then put your coat over it. So I have 1 more inch to go on the cowl, and then I will probably put it on that tried on tubing to see if this is long enough or if I'd like it a little bit longer. I think I'm going to have enough yarn to go another inch. Now the pattern is written for both this weight of yarn as well as a DK. So it is on a US size 10.5. I gave the pattern $3 signs on the frugalometer. And if I had to pay full price for this yarn, I would have called it $4 on the frugalometer. But being frugal, it was 75% off.
That, my dear sister, is a sale. That is a bargain. Thank you, Miss Nan, right?
So I'm not good at math, but I do believe that is buy 1, get 3 free. So yeah, that was, so that should be done by the time. And I don't know if this is going to need too much of a block, really.
Very good. It looks cute. I can't wait to see it on you.
So what are you working on?
I just cast on this morning the Copycat Cowl. This is a pattern by Verna Glass, and I am knitting it in Rowan Pure Wool, which is a superwash, and it has a number for a colorway. This was a gift from my sister Dawn in the cornflower blue colorway, number 178. So the pattern is written to cast on in a size 8. I could not find a size 8 needle to save my soul. So I've cast it on in a 9, which I think it'll be okay because I tend to be a tighter knitter. And I am just finishing the second section. And as you can see by that picture, it should have some puddling. And this is what I'm knitting for the daughter-in-laws this year is Cowls. So it'll be a gift. On the frugalometer, because it was a gift from my sister, the fiber is priceless. However, if I was buying it, all right, can I just do a parenthetical phrase here? I am having to change my frugalometer a little bit. I know, well, still, you know, I'm frugal, so I'd like the $1 signs, but I am learning that some of my $1 sign fibers do not agree with me.
Oh.
If they are that cheap, chances are they're just not going to agree with me. So even though this might have gotten $3 signs prior to this, I would give it $2 signs because it's quality and yet it's affordable for me. So
yeah.
I can't do acrylic. The bottom line is I can't knit with acrylic.
Yeah, it's bothering your eyes and.
Oh yeah. I mean, just so you can all see.
Yeah.
Craziness. But it did our mama too. Mom could not knit with acrylic, and I have knit 3 projects in acrylic yarn. Hence, I'm going to have to space that out. If I'm going to do an acrylic project, I'm going to need to do it maybe every 3rd or 4th.
Or buy some self-contained breathing apparatus.
Well, I'd have to wear almost, I don't know. Even sometimes my air filter goes up a notch. So it's the fibers in the air maybe, or the chemicals. I don't know, but anyway.
Mom, went to an eye specialist because she was convinced it was not yarn related. And if I remember right, he said it is some of the chemicals used in the production that can be very irritant. So for some people, it's the eyes. For some people, it's, they sneeze, cough, have more respiratory complaints. But Mom's eyes did exactly what yours are doing. So
and I do have chemical allergies. I already know that. I just don't know if these chemicals are in these acrylic yarns. But anyway, nevertheless, I'm working with pure wool.
Okay, try cashmere, nylon, silk. I'll send you some.
Please, no, I'm trying to work through my stash. Keep your yarn. What else are you working on? What else is on your needles?
Boy, was that a segue to shut up. Okay.
Why, yes, it was.
And look at this. That is a beautiful blue. It's just as pretty as it looks on the screen.
Absolutely, it is.
This is Campside. It is a shawl by Alicia Plummer. We cast it. We did a cast on party at the meetup for any of Alicia Plummer's Campside patterns. So, oh my goodness. I am on the 4th of 4 charts. You'll notice that the little eyelets keep getting closer together and as far as distance. And then it goes into a, I don't know, I'm gonna say maybe 3-inch ribbing at the end. I'm on a 60-inch needle and I need more than that. Now, as far as modifications, I did read quite a few project pages on where to make this longer, and they recommended on the 3rd chart. So I did do one extra repeat, and it's a 16-row repeat. And this is a free pattern, by the way. Now, you're thinking, what is that lovely yarn?
I am thinking that.
This is yarn that Lynn from Chicken Lady Fiber Arts dyed for me. It's a sport weight, but it is one of her colors that she has available, which is called Wear Worn Jeans. So I know she was just trying the sport weight out, so I did not look today to see if it's available on her website. But if you're interested in a sport weight, it'd be worth giving her an email or something. So this is 90% Targhee, 10% nylon. And I like sport weight too. There's just something about it, just a little heavier than fingering, but that color saturation is amazing.
Totally agree. To me, that is,
yeah. Now I am knitting it on, I don't want to give the wrong information here.
What I have on my sheet, Dawn, is you're knitting it on 6 and 7s.
Yeah, I was looking in the wrong area. Yeah, a US 6 and 7. I gave the pattern a $1 sign because it is free. She just came out with yet another Campside pattern this week for, I believe, a cardigan. So some people are doing the wrap, some are doing the swancho. She has a poncho, she has a pullover, a cardigan. So that is amazing. I don't know if all those patterns are free. I just know that the shawl is. And I gave the yarn $3 on the frugalometer. So well-worn jeans perfectly. I am
Totally agree.
I don't wear this color much, but I think I might have to start.
And dare I say, I believe it's as rich in depth and color as your Lobby Anime.
You know what? I think I would agree with that. I think that is interesting. I didn't put those two together, but what I loved about that was the saturation and just a little bit of tonality.
Miss Lynn, you knocked it out of the park.
Yeah. And maybe I'd like this to be done. I'm hoping for the next podcast, at least by the end of the month. I would like to have that, which, you know what, is much time. Okay, maybe the end of August. How's that? Do I assume you have nothing else that you're working on?
I am still monogamous.
And if you can believe this, I only have 3 things on my needles.
That means you're going to have a whole lot in what's off my needles.
Yeah, and I'm hoping for some cast-ons to happen here, but I want to get these off. Now, I just started yet another color shift by Karina Spencer. I am going to be teaching a few ladies here in Green Bay. Tomorrow they want to cast on this project. Now, this is a paid-for pattern on Ravelry. I've been using them for scraps. The last one I finished was my reds and blacks. This I'm using some speckles. There's 2 different speckles in here. It's probably hard to tell. One has a little more pink in it. One has a little more blue. And then I'm going to be adding pink and purple. I love these little, I don't know, we're not having classes, but we're all casting on. So it's kind of like a cast on party, knit along. Very inspirational to see what people are picking to use out of their stash. We have a gathering once a month that we call Scrappy Sundays. And we meet at a coffee shop And that's what we're going to be doing tomorrow. Now, I'll talk more about this in the, what am I learning? Tubular cast on is a recommended cast on, or any other stretchy. So I'm kind of getting into this tubular cast on. So this is going to become like my car knitting now, Zoom knitting.
Oh, yeah.
Is now it literally stays the same one by one ribbing through the whole pattern. Now, if you're not familiar with this pattern, you start holding 2 strands of a fingering weight, and then eventually she tells you when to increase your needle size. And so you're going to start with the 6, eventually go 7, 8, 9, 10, and then pick up a 3rd strand of yarn, and then ultimately a 4th. And that just allows that to sit nicely over your shoulders. So yeah, so that is the color shift. Let me I never know how to put a frugalometer on scrap yarn, but this
I would give it a single $sign, Dawn, because you're not investing anything, right?
and here's another interesting frugalometer. I probably, when I did the first one, called that a $2 or $3 sign on the frugalometer. This is my 3rd one. So that makes that pattern even more of a deal. That you knit it multiple times. And if you watch older episodes, I did on one episode say it was a free pattern. And I was wrong about that. So it is a paid for pattern on Ravelry by Karina Spencer. You may hear that name a little bit today. Those are the 3 things I have on my needles right now.
Very good. Well, I do have a couple projects off my needles.
Yeah.
So let me share quickly with Opal's accessory. This is called the 7/8 shawl. So I want you to see how it fits. I've not tucked my ends in. I literally took it off the needles, or finished it last night, bound off during knitting with the aunties. So it is a shawl that is divided into 8 sections. I am knitting it in the recommended yarn. This is a pattern that is by, Lainy Haule. And she recommended James C. Barrett Chunky. I have not knit in Chunky, I don't know, in maybe, I don't know how many years. But now you can really see how it self-stripes. Calls for 2 skeins of this. It doesn't have a name, but we want to just call it pretty colorway. We like it. Quick, easy pattern, great for a beginner, very good for a beginner. And it is a gift knit for a widow. My son has befriended a widow, and so she is an older woman, and so I've knit it for her. On the frugalometer, I'm going to say $2 signs for the fiber and $1 sign for the pattern.
Can you put that on
on a size 10, I think.
US 10? Wow.
Yeah.
You were wearing that last night. I'm telling you, I could not stop thinking about it. Look at that, how it just lays.
It doesn't move at all. And so you can see where it goes to on my arms. And this woman tends to just get a bit chilly in the air conditioning. And my son asked if I could knit her up a little something. And so I knit this, and I'm very pleased. I think you and I both talked ourselves into maybe knitting one. I think you could put a button here if you wanted. You could put a clasp. The pattern has a collar that is attached. We have decided we like it without the collar. It just works. It's beautiful both ways. So this one doesn't have the collar, and maybe if I do have yarn for another one. I was going to knit for the little lady that I take care of, who is a shut-in. And so I'll knit hers, and maybe I'll put the collar on, maybe I won't, we'll see. But I've got to stay away from, it's 100% acrylic, and it's been brutal for me right now. So I'm just going to stay away from it for a while.
Yeah. There's something about the way that just lays on your shoulders that I love. Because I think most people would tell you the challenge with some of the shawls that we knit is how do you wear them? And then when you do wear them, how do you get them to stay in the position?
Right.
And that's always a challenge. And we look at
that.
Yeah.
I just put the collar of the blouse over it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So you could wear it a couple of ways.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
So anyway, that is off my needles.
All right. Let me tell you what is off my needles. I have a few things. I finished the Inclination Cowl by Andrea Maury.
Let's see it.
On a couple of episodes.
Ooh, Dawn.
Asymmetrical, just so you know. I used Rainbow Beach yarn in 2 colorways. It is half fisherman's rib. It is knit flat and seamed in the back. And here is another example of how do you wear these really long necks. And there is just something about doing just that. Throw it on and you go. Now, my row gauge is a little off. I was knitting on Zoom one night and my friend said, I think it's long enough. So I measured it and I was right at the length. I had 40 more rows to go. So I thought, you know what? I like the length. That's more important. So I would not have wanted another 40 rows. But this has a nice pattern if you flip it on the inside.
Oh.
So I think this one you could go either way. Now the pattern does call for the use of spin cycle, and that's pretty frivolous, right? So I thought Rainbow Beach was a really nice alternative. I had bought this too when Silver Thimble was going. Now that's a yarn by Queensland, just so you know. It called for a US size 2.5 needle. The pattern I gave $2 signs, and I gave the yarn $3 signs. Now, again, my guess is I bought it during an Andrea Maury sale, either when it first came out, she gives nice discounts, or during her birthday sale or something like that. So Inclination Cowl. Those of you who have been a little timid about trying brioche, but want a brioche-like look, I think this half fisherman's rib is very nice. Those of you who brioche, I kept brioching when my mind would wander and have to go back and tink it back because I was doing half fisherman's rib. Look at some of the project pages. Some people are using Cascade Heritage Wave. You talk about a frugal alternative that is beautiful. I would look at that as well. And I think a lot of dyers today are coming up with slow changing gradients. I don't know if those are called slow changing or long runs, but you can see these were 2 that were not very high contrast. And I like these colors too. So another cowl. Okay, let's do another cowl. Okay, let's. All right.
Let's go to something else we finish before we cast on something else.
Now,
all right. I finished. What? What did you say?
Go ahead. I want to see this.
Gosh, I've got to somehow rein you in, girl. I finished the basket weave baby blankie that I have been working on for my granddaughter for Christmas. It is by Jean Adele in the baby blankie book by Leisure Arts. I knit it in Plymouth Cascade Cherub. It is an Aran weight in the color purple. It looks a little blue today, but really it is a nice deep purple. And I knit that also on a size 10. Frugalometer, definitely $1 sign for both the pattern and the fiber, because that pattern came from a book. So I really find those to be the most cost-effective ways to get patterns. And part of my challenge this year has been not to buy new patterns, only knit from the patterns I already have and knit from the yarn I already have. I was okay until I knit this shawl.
But you always knew that if you had to do a gift knit or did something for kids or grandkids, you would be willing to.
Oh yeah, it's not that I'm not willing to buy yarn. I just have plenty of it. So what else is off your needles?
I'm running a little short on yarn, so. Just a minute, I feel my nose growing. Okay, so.
And we can see it growing.
I may have started the Squareopolis shawl by Maxim Sear. And I realized that it was a small shawl, like 64, maybe 70 inches. Who does shawls that narrow, right? So I wanted to go 100, so I started doing out the math, and I was not going to have enough yarn. And believe it or not, I did not want to buy another Zauer ball because they're huge, right? And I was only going to need a little bit. So look what I did.
Oh, at you.
Made it into a cowl.
Yes, you did.
See if I can, well, first of all, just some details about the pattern. So if you were following the pattern by by Maxim Sear, it is knit on a US 5 and 6. I actually ended up using both of those sizes. The black solid that you're seeing is a Cascade yarn, Pacific Sport. I like this yarn and we'll use it again for sure. I like the feel of it. I like the stitch definition. The gray that you're seeing is a Zauberball edition 6, and the pattern called for 1, but again, wanting to make it larger. Now, so I had the shawl about, I'd say 65% done, and I thought, I'm just gonna make it into a cowl. So I literally just started knitting in the round. It like fell off my shoulders.
Oh, okay.
So then tore that out. And then tried overlapping, and I had to do that 3 times before I realized let's measure a cowl that you like. So I actually measured inclination cowl. So I don't know if you can see here in the back where the shawl was.
Look at you.
I don't know if I need all that extra fabric, but it was already knit, and I wasn't interested really in unknitting if I didn't have to. So then I just joined in the round and knit the ribbing as the pattern was going to have at the top.
All right. You need to post that online and show Maxim what you did with it.
Well, yeah, I could do that. I did put all of my modifications in Ravelry.
Oh, okay.
Now, would I like it a little, I'd like it to lay just a little bit different there, but otherwise, for a shawl that I wasn't going to end up knitting, to make it into a cowl, I thought was
brilliant.
Yeah. So this one, I had to keep redoing the ribbing because when it flipped open, see what that looks like? That was not nearly as pretty as the outside. So if I were to do it again, obviously I would not make the triangle as big. I would join in the round much sooner so I don't have all this extra fabric from those 2 overlapping. But yeah, I like it. So I don't know what to call it. The Squareopolis-ish?
Cowl. It's the Squareopolis cowl.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, oh, you need to hook up with him and let him know what you did, because that might be an option for him to morph what he's already created.
Yeah, good idea.
You two could collaborate.
I will send him a message.
Do that.
Okay. So, he'd be one I couldn't talk to because he is so stinking good looking. All right.
And send him an email.
I will. Maxim.
All right. Thank you. I have one more thing off my needle.
Oh, stop. What is it?
All right. I didn't even tell you I was knitting it. I knit it, first of all, out of Debbie Bliss baby Cashmerino because I had some left from the sweater that I knit for our grandson. And this is called the Clear Skies Cowl by UU.
Oh, Penny, I want that too. Look,
isn't that cute? So, it is, I think you would like it. Too warm for me.
One of your daughter-in-laws are gonna love it.
Don't you think?
Oh,
yep.
Yeah.
So this is by UU. I knit this, let me see, on a US size 6 as suggested in the pattern. It is a pay for pattern. I still gave it a $sign on the frugalometer and $4 for the fiber. But cute. Now, just for those of you who might be new, when I show you a finished object, I don't tuck in any of my ends. I don't weave them in until after I block them. So I will wash and block all these probably this week and then put my ends in. Yeah. Then they'll be ready for the gift or for the recipients.
That is pretty. I like just that. I love it when you do just a little section of a texture. And then
right. And you know how we talk about the trifecta, right pattern, right yarn, right color. This baby Cashmerino is high twist. You can see these patterns.
Yes, you can.
Oh, I like a high twist fiber. So nice drape, but I'm all out now. No more baby cashmerino. Nada. And
I
don't you dare give me any. I saw where your eyes were going.
was
You're
like,
thinking I have two of those skeins somewhere upstairs.
I don't, that's Debbie Bliss, you said?
Mhm.
Because I use Sublime. I think they're pretty similar in feel.
I would say this can be a bit splitty. You're not going to use a signature or a Choigu needle with Debbie Bliss.
Oh, so you need like an Addy rocket.
Yeah, that's all I used. Yeah.
Love Addy rockets.
Mhm.
All right, one more call. All right.
Okay. And here we didn't plan this, but we all had cowls and or what did you do?
Oh, here it is. The Twofold by Karina Spencer. Look at this. So let me show you
Wow.
the instruction. You knit it using a simple intarsia. And just those full little cables is so attractive, I think.
Totally agree.
Yeah. So then, you knit out. Now you have two choices in the end. You can put button bands on here and attach buttons so that it becomes, you can take it apart. Or seam. So I just seamed. And I got to practice the mattress stitch. There's a few little places where it's not quite perfect, but otherwise I was very happy.
Yes, it looks very nice.
I watched her Instagram reel like 400 times on how to fold this. So I have the white facing me, right? The black facing you.
Okay.
And then you just take the seam side and slide it underneath the intarsia side. So you can kind of see that. And then up and over.
Voila. Oh, oh, oh.
I'm wearing black, which probably didn't help. You kind of see that, but oh my gosh, I'm in love.
Very, very,
I would like a cowl with just this part too.
very striking.
Yeah. Now the yarn I used was the yarn that she had used in the pattern, which was Woolfolk Far. Penny, it's that A with the two dots above it. So I don't know if
Yeah,
it's
it's called the diuresis. So it's probably more of an awe. So fa, fa.
I think
Like, yeah, it'd be like far. Mhm.
I think a diuresis meaning water pill. Okay. This is cream and black. Wow. And I knit it on a US 7 and an 8. I called the pattern. When it did release, we were at the meetup the weekend it released, and quite a few have knitted already. So you'll watch some of the other podcasters. James from Dude Knits finished his. Noelle from Knits and Pieces, I think, has finished hers.
Wow.
Yeah, $4 for the yarn.
$4 signs on the frugal.
Yeah, $4 signs, not $4. I have a little bit extra that I may try to do another little project out of. So I am thrilled. I don't know if I need see, what I don't know what to do is this back here. What do you do with all that extra behind your back? That's what I have to figure out. Or do you pull it down? That's why I just need to mess around with this style a little bit. And maybe in hindsight, there's an advantage to the buttons. That might give you more options for manipulation. But
So if you were to knit it again, you might try the buttons.
And what is it about this? Okay, so
I like it.
we declared the year of the cowl. I think I need to declare a year of Karina Spencer. She has so many cowl patterns that I would love to knit. So there's something about her aesthetic that really resonates with me. Yeah, so follow her on Instagram too if you're an Instagrammer. She is a maker of many things. She sews as well as is a designer. So
Wow, talented.
Twofold by Karina Spencer. And then the last thing I have was that it for you, Penny?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I just did a hat. I'm going to teach a class coming up at Magpie's Cottage in Sheboygan Falls for beginning knitters. So if you're interested, you can go to magpiescottage.net and look at class schedules, but this is the Bankhead hat. It is a hat you've seen Penny and I both do. It's probably my go-to simple hat pattern. It is by Susie Gorley. It's free on Ravelry. It's a great beginners if you want to first learn to knit in the round and do some simple decreases. I think it is nice. It is a half twisted rib to start it. And it does call for that little thicker brim. The yarn I'm using is Plymouth Encore. So definitely a nice frugal option. You use 1 skein of the worsted. I still had like 28 grams left. And I literally knit to pattern. Did I even put that on here?
It's not on the notes. So do you remember what size needle you used? Was it an 8?
I think it was an 8. Now, pom-pom or not is always the question. So that'll be a fun discussion to have in the class. So that is an upcoming class I'm doing in September. I hold it over 3 weeks. The other class I'm going to do too, I think, is just a simple mitten pattern. So I will try to get one of those done and maybe show that on the next episode as well. That will go then down to Magpies for a shop model. But I love the energy of new knitters. So if that class goes, I just kind of thrive off of that energy of people trying new things and seeing it. And, you know, I think that's a great place for these workhorse yarns where it's some acrylic, some wool, but it's machine washable. And I think that is so incredible. Now, this is just kind of all adult sizes. I think you can go small through extra large. I did do the adult large. They do not go down into children's sizes. I don't recall, but don't quote me on that. So 1 on the Frugalometer for a free pattern. And I think Encore is a very reasonable yarn. I would call it a 1 or a 2. So.
And I did see it on our show notes, Dawn. You knitted on a 7.
Oh, you were 7.
It was way at the bottom of the page.
You know, my gauge must be a tad loose because this hat is.
It's as loose as your wallet, girl.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I think I like this if I'm wearing it around. I don't know if I would want it on a windy winter day. I think it would be a little bit tighter. But yeah, not really my color either, but I like it. I mean, I don't knit with teal very often. But
pretty, very pretty color.
Yeah, so I think that is what's off my needle. So what's happening at Frivolous and Frugal?
Well, actually, we have several things, and I'm going to go through these quickly. So you can always refer to our show notes for details. Well, as many details as we include, but we have a couple of giveaways going right now. Our next YouTube giveaway is going to be with this episode 86. So in the comments below, answer this question if you would like to be entered in for the giveaway. The question is, what are you currently knitting? You know what we're knitting, but we don't know what you're knitting. So please share with us what you're knitting. We are still doing the Finish, Fix, Flip, or Frog at Cal. That is ongoing and has a thread in Ravelry. We will choose a winner during episode 88 for that. And literally, it's basically a thread for whatever you're working on, especially things that you have frogged or finished or maybe flipped and created, such as Dawn did, the shawl into a cowl. We also have the Give a Boost Cal that will continue through September 30th. This is where we're encouraging you to choose a pattern that has less than 50 published projects in Ravelry. We want to give a boost to our new and emerging designers. If you have that, you're welcome to post a picture of it, finished objects in Ravelry. That's from where we choose our giveaways, but we also have just a discussion thread. You're welcome to join that as well. We will choose that winner during episode 88. We have the half and half Cal that we are going to be doing with the 3-ply podcast. Are we doing that with anyone else, Dawn, or just 3-ply?
Well, I think Penny from PJ Knits is working on one too. So I'll just open the discussion board if anybody wants to share what it is.
Yes, absolutely. So if you support those podcasters and they're doing it at triple, double, quadruple dip, we don't care. It's the half and half. I don't even know what you call it, wrap by Pearl Soho. And we are casting on September 1st, and that cowl will end December 31st. And then our Christmas in July cowl will be coming to a close August 31st. If you would like to be considered for a prize, a giveaway, please post that in our Ravelry thread. And we will choose that during episode 87. By the time this post, you will have the opportunity to join one last Tuesday night Zoom, and that will take place on August 30th from 6 to 8 Central Standard Time. And Dawn hosts that via Zoom. The link is in Ravelry. And then we are taking a break because of family commitments throughout the fall. As with everything we do, we will revisit it to see if it's feasible and if there's a desire for it. So if you would like to have that last Tuesday evening where you can show what you're working on or inspire us to knit something different, please join us. That is all I can think of, Dawn.
Yeah, and then after the last Tuesday night Zoom, I'm going to post 3 other Tuesday night Zooms that I'm aware of that you could join, either Zoom, virtual, some other platform. But Knits and Pieces has one, James has one, and Valerie has one. So I will try to make sure I get all of those links and maybe even the times that they are. So that would be another great option. So and then I think we will continue to think about maybe this fall implementing back our once a month virtual knit together nights. So stand by for those. We're just trying to look at dates and family travel commitments and things like that. So yeah.
Absolutely. So before we get into honorable mention, what are you learning?
You know, I'm learning a couple of things. One is that tubular cast on in the round for 1x1 ribbing. And I will tell you, there's a great YouTube video by Cup of Joy, maybe is her. I'll send Penny the link to include in the show notes. But she does a very nice step-by-step. But I don't know if you can kind of see how that just gives you that nice rounded edge. Now, those of you who knit a lot of Andrea Mowry sweaters, I believe this is a cast on that she uses often. Then when this is done, for the first time, I'd like to do the tubular bind off to learn that. So that is one of the things I'm learning. And then the other thing is I had a little reality check this weekend. I don't know about you, but you ever wake up and you feel like you've been fighting yourself all night long? I realized that this will be a surprise to nobody. I can get out of control with FOMO, the fear of missing out. So I was all wound up about what was I going to do for the Ho-He's fall knit along until I realized I don't want to do Ho-He's fall knit along. I mean, I love her patterns. I knit a lot of her patterns, but I was almost forcing myself to pick a pattern to knit to be part of that knit along. There are so many other patterns right now I want to knit. I'm looking forward to knitting. I'm dream knitting them. So you know what? I need to have a reality check that only participate in those things. You know, this gets overused, but that bring you joy. I want to knit what I want to knit, whether it's for myself, for a gift, for a class, but I don't have any extra time to just be knitting things that I just feel like I get caught into the fervor of knitting along. So I love knit alongs. Obviously we have a lot for the podcast, but I don't need, is that the right word? I don't want to do every single knit along, but I get caught up into the fervor when everybody's talking about them. And then I make a commitment that when I go back and think about it, you guys, I'm sorry, I just don't have it in me right now to participate in that. So I'll be your cheerleader for sure. I want to see what you're working on. I want to be inspired by that. I just may not be, because you know what's coming around the corner is My Dear Stevens knit along will be coming, and that is always a large project. So I want to be ready for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I guess I was learning in 2 different schools of thought this week. How about you? What have you been learning?
Nothing nearly as profound. although I resonate with what you're saying, because it reminds me that there's not enough time to do it all. So I want to be intentional about the projects I'm choosing. Okay. But what I'm really learning was what I learned this morning before we started podcasting. I learned the Chinese waitress cast on.
Oh,
I don't recall ever doing that before. So that's what I have done for this copycat cowl. Just did it this morning. It's not perfect. I don't think it will be. It's going to take me many more times of doing it, but it does have a nice chain edge. I don't know if you can see this. And that's what the pattern designer suggested.
that is a really nice cast on edge. And is it stretchy, I take it?
Yes.
Yeah, I like that too.
Right. So good choice, good challenge.
Did you watch a YouTube for that, or did she have written instructions?
I did watch a YouTube. She has a suggested YouTube.
Okay.
I watched it, looked through it twice, and thought I got to get it in my brain because this is going to require different muscle memory. Now, I will probably have to rewatch it every time I do it for the next 4, 5, 6, 7 times. But it was a good challenge because I want to always keep learning. Yeah.
Always, always, always. And I
Yeah.
think both of us love to learn.
Oh, absolutely.
We understand messy process, but I'm willing to go through it.
Oh, yeah. Why not? All right. I think we have just a couple minutes if you would like to do some honorable mentions, or do you want to wait and do that at another time? Totally up to you.
I can do it. I'll try to do it quick. Now, if you have been watching other podcasts of podcasters who went to our mini meetup, they literally have covered our entire meetup to where there's nothing else, I don't think, for Penny and I to share about the events of the weekend. So again, Knits and Pieces did a really nice, and you know what, Penny, was fun for me to watch theirs. I saw it from their perspective, from a participant, because I think we see the behind the scenes stuff, and that's
Right.
our purview of the weekend, which we're always so grateful for. But it's so fun to hear other people talk and see their pictures, things that we maybe didn't get to see at the time. But Knits and Pieces talked about it, Dude Knits talked about it, PJ Knits, Got Whips podcast. And then I think the 3-ply ladies may be podcasting this weekend too. So
And
watch.
Pandemic Knitter, didn't she chat about that?
Beth did too. She did a really nice. Yeah, it's been, yeah, I feel like we're soul sisters with her already. So, but a few things that people went out of their way to bless Penny and I, Brianna and Nikki. We received a lovely gift this week in the mail from Elgin Knitworks. Now, I opened my package. Penny hasn't opened hers, so I will refrain from showing those. But Betsy and Linda went above and beyond to share kindness with us. And you know, they were just grateful that we were supportive of their shop. And I'm thinking, we are so grateful for them and their shops.
Absolutely.
I think that's where the blessing comes. And you know, I think too, it is so hard for me to receive, so easy to give. And so those are some things I want to think about. Now, just a few other things I wanted to show, like Miss Kim gave me the set of minis. She said, I want to be part of your scrappy blanket. I want part of me to be with you. So look at them. They're just all caked up. So cute. Miss Linda gave me a skein of yarn, which seems absolutely delightful. This is called Here We Come a Wassailing. So that is nice. Now, Miss Cheryl and Stephanie, Miss Stephanie both gave us project bags to give as part of giveaways. So that was delightful. And then Miss Nikki from Got Whips created this bag for Penny and I. So, and this has got that cork bottom, which I look forward to. And it had our name in it, and it had chocolate on the inside. I don't know what happened to the chocolate. So Angel Mom, Miss Sandy gave us stitch markers. And then through some of my travels too, people gave us really nice gifts. Miss Eva, Grandma Eva from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, gave Penny, Brianna, Nikki, and I these project bags. They're a design she has, but you know what blessed my heart more than anything? A handwritten note.
I know.
Yeah, we
You
cried.
were crying.
know we were crying. And we don't cry pretty, so that's never.
Yeah.
Miss Bonnie in Canada also gave us stitch markers. Miss Norma gave us patterns to share, stitch markers. So all of those gifts were amazing. I did get to see Miss Ellen, and coming through South Dakota, she gave us hand spun yarn. Can you imagine, to give anybody your own hand spun is a gift that is not even I don't even know how to say thank you, let alone try to understand the work, the love, the talent. So wait till you see some things that we plan on knitting up for that. And then just the last little thing, a friend of mine here in town made me this little project bag because she said she saw the red, black, and white.
Oh, how cute.
Little drawstring. Oh my gosh. So Miss Laura, thank you. I love that. Also, there were people who went out of their way to help us at the podcast. I think of like James would just step up when he saw a need and just didn't have to say anything. He just was very much just help out when they can. And so many people did that. So I'm afraid we're missing people. I think of Miss Cindy sent you and I gifts ahead of time. So many people brought you those little bread markers because they know how much you love those. Miss Noel from Knits and Pieces gave us hand wove dishcloth, hand wove. I see again, my brain can't even go there. Like, how do you do that? And then how do you give it away? And she's like, I want you to use it every day. Wash, dry. And so you know what? It's in my road. I put it in the drawer. But it's like, how do you say thank you to, I know. And I wish somebody'd come up with another word that means like mucho thank you, because we are beyond grateful and blessed to be part of this community. And we want to stay true to who we are, and we want the meetup to stay true to who we are. And we don't see any major changes coming. Oh, maybe no changes coming. So yeah. And was there anybody else I forgot, Penny?
Queen Sandy.
Oh my gosh, how do I forget that? Queen Sandy and all of her bags. Yes. I had a little treat. I got to see her and Irene this week. Yeah.
So I'm just going to echo what Dawn said. Words are not sufficient right now, but your generosity and your kindness humbled us. Absolutely. I mean, humbled us to the point that it was hard to even, we were crying. Yeah. We don't even know how to say thank you. So thank you so much to everyone. Those of you who pitched in and helped, who gave us ideas, who gave us constructive criticism, who helped with the little things. And I'll bet there were those of you who helped us and we didn't catch you in the act. So if you did, and you did it, not because you wanted to be mentioned, but because you wanted to help, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
They do that little heart thing all the time.
Oh, yeah, I can't do it, but I'll do what she's doing. Okay. Anyway, as we wrap up today's episode 86, we have to end with what would Nikki say? So this is what Nikki would say to us this week. When you need a pick-me-up, take a glance at your accomplishments, whether it might be a knitting project, your yard work, or a great round of golf, and then count your blessings. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude is always so fulfilling. And I hope you understand how grateful we are for you. We're so grateful that we're hoping your week is going to be a sweet twist of the frivolous and frugal. And we look forward to seeing you for episode 87. Have a great fiber-filled week. Bye-bye.
Bye.